everybody. We'll pull up the comments here. We had several that have been really excited about this show. They've reached out to me and David both saying that they thought it'd be really interesting. And I'm hoping that they'll type in questions and any comments and things that they have. And we can kind of get more feedback from the audience today. So I know you said you're out of South Carolina, right?
Yep.
Is that where you're based out of? Okay. And can you tell me a little bit about, because I was, we've lost him. I feel he'll probably be back in just a sec. I don't know. He's got disconnected somehow.
Oh,
he'll be back. I'd say it's where he's had that, where he's recently moved and he's having to set up and stuff. It's probably somehow kicked him out.
right.
There he is. Let me see.
I hit the wrong button.
That's okay. I tell you, I said,
I was like, oh.
It's all right. I figured it was where you just had to move and you said your setup was different. You might be
No, our internet's awesome out here. I mean, I got like that super high speed stuff. And it's cheap because I'm like out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I'm in the middle of nowhere. My signal is not so great. David can tell you I've been cut off many times. So we do that too. We understand about things happening with buttons and technology. But now what I was going to say before we got disconnected is that I was raised in more of a Baptist background from my family.
Yep.
I mean, I have some really close friends that are Catholic and things like that. But can you explain to us a little bit about your archbishop and what
Yep.
that means and like your church organization you're with, if you don't care?
I'm in the Solomonic Order of St. Michael the Archangel. We're pretty much an organization of priests. I mean, we're not all Catholic. I mean, the archbishop that runs Archbishop Christian, he's in South America and he's Lutheran.
Okay.
Wow.
See, I didn't know that's
Which is kind of like Catholic, right?
I thought you were all the organization were Catholic. I just assumed I didn't.
Yeah, we're Catholic, but we are not affiliated with the Vatican.
Okay. And
We're known, but we're not affiliated.
Okay, and I admit that I don't know a whole lot about, like, say if somebody thought they did have like a demonic presence in their home or they needed an exorcism or something. I know with the process with the Catholic Church, it's like pretty extensive, to
we have an extensive one too.
Okay, and I was gonna say, is your process?
You have to. Honestly, you have to. I mean, 90%. I mean, if I had, like just for number basics, it's not. I'm not saying this is how many there are, but say out of every 100 people that call, one might actually be, if that.
Yeah. Well, and I know a lot of people, that's people that do paranormal investigations, like the group that I was trying to associate with, and David's, they'll tell you that it usually is not demonic. I mean, that's usually
90%, 98%, 99% of the time is not.
Right. But I didn't know if that was something that, I guess I didn't know if you all had the extensive process as well. So what is the process? I mean, can you kind of tell us about that?
I mean, for it's different for like a house than it is for a person. For a person, I mean, you have to have a physical and psychological evaluation done. Because, I mean, possession mental disorder can mimic possession, vice versa. So,
yeah.
And if somebody has a mental disorder, you don't want to like do an exorcism on them because it can push them deeper into psychosis and can lead to suicide. Now, that's not something we want. So,
yeah. Well, I agree, and I think that that's really good. To me, that just shows how credible you are, and that you all really taking this, being very ethical about it, and asking for.
Oh yeah, and I have psychologists that I work with, and.
Okay. Well, you say it's and Amber is on here and Jennifer, and they're both saying hello to us. And Amber was saying that she had assumed as well. She thought it was all associated with the Catholic Church. So it's interesting.
We're independent. We're independent Catholic.
Okay. Well, so you said that it's different if it's a home that somebody's concerned about than it is if it's a person. Is the process? What do you do if they say that they think a building?
If it's a home, I got a team I work with. I got like Ron from Spur. We have a demonology department, and like Ron and them, they'll go out and they'll do an investigation on it. Because I really don't do like paranormal investigating and stuff like that.
Right.
So I got people that do that for me, and they're great people. I mean, Spur, they're awesome. They travel all over the place for me, and they do a great job.
Okay. Do you have any, like, I guess, are they always successful when you do, you're saying something like 2% of the time it's an actual problem that needs an exorcism or something?
No, it's not always successful.
Okay. I wondered, and like,
sometimes it takes years.
Yeah. I've heard other like Catholic priests saying that it takes them, sometimes it can be months, it can be longer, and you just don't know.
I've had one before take me. I had one before take me 3 years.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And is that something that and this might be just again, I don't know. I've just always heard too that once somebody has had like an attachment or a actual possession like that they're more likely to have it return. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah. If they don't do what they're supposed to be doing, then yes, easily.
Okay. See, it's so scary, isn't it? I mean, some of this stuff is things that like you see on TV or you hear about, but that unless you have a personal encounter with, it makes it kind of hard to understand,
Yeah, and TV they always overproduce it. I mean, it's they take the worst of the worst and then make it seem like normal.
Yeah, and that's why with all this I keep saying I've heard this, but is this true? Because I never know. You know what happens to people, I think, is too, over the years you'll read things in different books or you'll see different movies and things, and somehow things get ingrained in your mind that this is fact or the way it works when it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
So like, and I don't even know. Like I've always heard this and I thought this, but I don't even know where I got this information. That's kind of what I'm feeling. Is like, how accurate is this?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you gotta remember too, it's for entertainment.
Yeah. That's what you got to look at too. 99% of that's all for entertainment basis.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what would be, I guess, some of the, I mean, can you talk about any of the cases, or is that something you all?
Yeah, some of them, I mean, I'm not gonna say any name. I'm not any names or anything like that, but yeah.
Right. I wouldn't ask you to do that. I just wondered, like, kind of like, I don't know. I was just wondering, like, what some of the really severe cases were like, or what you had to go through.
I actually studied in Italy for a while, and I had a mentor, and I was kind of thrown to the wolves. I mean. My first one I ever went on, and like Ron was pretty. I love him. He calls it the brown pants moment. And they told me like the first one I ever went on. Actually, they told me it was just go check out this house. The house might need to be blessed. And I got there, it was full blown possession. And I was like, oh, what do I do? They're like, oh, you're fine. Just go do it.
But I've heard that too, that there's not really a formal training, that they recommend you like shadow somebody or something at first, but they don't even require that necessarily.
Well, I used to be with the Vatican, so I'm a Vatican trained exorcist.
Yeah. So do they do a lot of training then? Is that
there is a school in the Vatican in Italy.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I'd heard that a lot of people were just kind of thrown into it. Like once you're, I guess that's like, here you can go do this, And so,
there's not very many Vatican trained people in the United States.
No, there are.
I think it was like less than 15. I even want to say.
No, there's more now.
There are more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Vatican kind of put out more, and I can't really speak on it for them, but I know because I have friends that are still with the Vatican, and they put out a lot more than there was in the past, and that's all I know.
Do you think, and this isn't just about the Vatican, but like just in general, do you think there's an increase in activity than what there was like years ago? And I don't
know if there's an increase, but it's reported more.
Okay. I wonder, and this is just me throwing this out there. I mean, do you think that the internet has, and like the exchange of knowledge and awareness and things like that is behind some of that? Or what's your all's opinions on that? I've got that question up to David and you both, just thinking out loud,
For sure. I mean, it's opened it up for discussion more, that's for sure. Because before, nobody talked about it. It was just kind of pushed. And most of the time, it was considered, they're crazy.
Yeah. Well, and I know years ago, I mean, like you read books. I mean, if people had epilepsy or they had, Tourette's or they had any kind of people used to think it was, it was possession or something.
Yeah, like way back in the day. Yeah.
Right. So I mean,
like 1800s, 1900s. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people were just scared to say something sometimes, even if they suspected there was a problem, afraid of somebody being just called crazy and locked up or, whatever. And Deacon Neil Amerson's here, and hello. And
He's one of our deacons with the SOSMA.
okay, I'm so glad you're here.
And Jennifer, actually, that's Mother Superior
Oh, okay.
with the order.
Thank you all. Thank you for. How many people are in your order?
We have quite a bit now.
Okay.
I mean, worldwide, I'm not even sure what the number is, but we got a bunch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just had no idea.
We are worldwide, so.
Right. Oh, well,
we have the United States order and we have the international order, so.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. After the show, if you want to send me like your contact information and things,
yeah, for sure.
If in case somebody does need help, we'll share that in the group and share like if you I don't know if you have a website, email.
Yeah, www.sosma.com or sosmausa.com.
Okay. Okay. So we'll share that then, and I'm assuming then like if somebody needed something, you go through like figuring out who was closest to them. Is that how you do like in your organization? That's who reaches out to them.
All depends. It all depends. Some of us, I mean, like Ken's in California and he's going to New York here in a month, next month. So.
Okay. Do some of you have different like areas of expertise or something? Then is that why that you might do that?
No, just whoever can do it at the time.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't know if it was, like different people studied in different things or anything.
There are. Well, yeah, there are. I mean, Father Ken's got a doctorate. Archbishop Ken, he has a doctorate.
Okay. Okay. And I see Kimmy Corpse is on here, and hello. And is that somebody that you all know directly? Oh, I think David knows her. Thank you, Kimmy. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
But did you have questions you wanted to ask him, David?
Yes. Is there like a certain age bracket that would be more difficult to work with?
It's harder with children for sure.
Oh yeah, that would definitely get to me.
Is that less common though? Because I've always heard that that's less common. Or
it is. It is.
That's what I've heard that's not the norm necessarily.
No, it's not.
And I wondered about, because a lot of times elderly people, you think of them being like children sometimes in their mentality.
When you get into like something that might like, have like sundowners or some kind of
dementia or something.
Dementia or something like that. Yeah, so some Alzheimer's because my grandmother had Alzheimer's, and I mean it's pretty rough.
It is. It is. That's really hard on the families and hard on everybody. But is it common with elderly people, or is that something that you don't see much of?
I haven't really dealt with the elderly much.
Because I would think that if it wasn't really common in children, it might not be really common in elderly too, because their minds kind of become like kids. Do you know what I mean? Like from a spiritual.
And there in that aspect, I mean, that might not even be reported as much. There might be more that's just not reported.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's something to consider.
I know.
Because most of the time, it's not the person, because the person that's actually possessed doesn't know that they're possessed.
Right. They're not the one calling you, are they?
No. It's usually the families, and it's not. So yeah, somebody that's possessed does not know they're possessed.
Yeah. Okay.
That'd be a gradual thing, wouldn't it?
A what?
That would be a gradual thing, then something taking over.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I think it starts with more of maybe an attachment, and then becomes more of an influence. Is that kind of what you're saying? And then it becomes full blown later on. People
will have like missing time and stuff like that, and just pretty much what happens when it takes over. The person kind of like just takes a back seat.
Yeah.
And just goes into the dark. They have no idea what's going on when it takes over. They have no idea.
Yeah, it's really it's a terrifying thing when you really think about it, And so, how many years have you been doing this?
Gosh, on my own, at least 5.
Okay. I knew, like I said, I knew I've seen you as a guest, and you've always done really well and been very interesting on other shows. And I knew it had been some time. I didn't know exactly what time frame and things.
Yeah, no, I had a mentorship for a long time, but I also like when I left the Vatican, I joined the Marine Corps for a number of years. So I kind of left the priesthood for a while and then came back.
Yeah.
It was Archbishop Vendega that pretty much brought me back, and he was the founder of the order. And God rest his soul. I mean, he passed away last year. And
Yeah. Well, I hate to hear that loss. Yeah. I'm sorry, David. What? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, I was just saying, thank you for your service. Anyway.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Definitely. And I would think that would be hard once you had that knowledge in your mind and you knew these things, so to not come back and help, because it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like when your eyes are open to things.
it was a little different. I mean, because I've been to I was in the infantry, so I've been to combat and all that. I was in Fallujah back in 04, 03 and 04.
Yeah.
So.
One of the things I've always wondered about, and I don't know if when you get in and you're performing like an exorcism, you're in the actual battle of it or whatever, and you do see, I know it's dramatized and blown up on TV and things like that and everything, but in reality, I do think there's a component of this that's true. Where they say that, like, demons can use your sins against you and can say things that they have knowledge of things that you've done.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing about it, it's that the demon has never been a person.
Right.
So you'll always know because they're not quite right. There's something that they don't know how to act as people.
Right. Right.
But there's stuff that they know that. I mean, think about it. They've been on Earth since Earth's been Earth.
Right. But even though they've been on Earth since Earth's been Earth, and this is more of a theological question, I guess, and I don't know that anybody would know fully the complete answer, but like, I always just wondered if they can, like priests and people that are very religious and that have been absolved of those sins. Like, how can they tell them of those things? You know what I mean? If they're
still know. They still know things that we've done and that. No.
Yeah. So they compared it. I know they told me, because I asked a friend that studies a lot, religiously, and they said it was more like, that's like having a criminal record. It can get like cleared and forgiven, but it's still there. And
yeah, exactly. They're right. Yeah, exactly. It's still there. Yeah.
Spit it out at you. Do you usually? I know you said there's a lot in your group. When you're actually going in, you don't go in alone though, right?
No, you're never going alone. Never. I usually take sometimes I'll take a nun with me. Sometimes I'll have another priest and a nun. It all depends on severity.
Okay. And is this like a once every 2 or 3 months you have to go places, or there's people going someplace every week?
It depends.
It just varies.
I've had sometimes where it's a lot, sometimes where it's nothing.
Yeah. That's the same as, I was a social worker forever, and it was like that. Sometimes we'd be absolutely swamped. Sometimes we'd have 5 or 10 cases, but sometimes we would we'd have more cases than we could get out on. And it's that way with people in that area as well.
Yeah, and I know people that do the same thing I do, just in other orders, and we'd all talk.
Yeah. And Kitty Lynn's on here. She was on our previous show and did a really good job with that, and we were happy to have her on. And Kitty, Kimmy, all of y'all, Jennifer, if any, which Jennifer wouldn't because she's with you, but or Amber, if any of you have questions for him, just let me know. If you can put them in here, I'll go ahead and ask while we're on the air. I know, David, you said that you had some other things you wondered about. What were some of the other questions you had?
Well, let me ask this one right off. You said that earlier that they just threw you into that first one.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you feel when you came out of it?
I was drained. A little frazzled. I'm not gonna lie. It took a while to recover from it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of stuff happened that just kind of like, did that really just happen?
Yeah, I could see it that way.
I had to grip your mind around it a little bit.
Right. Did I was trying to see here.
That is totally understandable.
It would be. Did have you ever had anything, I guess, like bother you or your family directly after doing one of these or working with them?
Yeah. Well, I have. Oh yeah, I've had stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I do it, I mean, it takes time for us to prepare it. We can't just get a call and just jump on it. I mean,
Right.
there's stuff we have to do to prepare ourselves to go to do this. You know, I mean, I have to fast for a couple days. So there's a lot of things I have to do to prepare for it.
Well, that just sounds smart. That sounds good. You know, keep yourself safe and
Very
everything.
sensible.
But I would think that
Yeah.
even with doing that, you're still having that chance of it coming home with you or trying to mess with you.
Well, you think about it. If their main goal is to take calls, what's the best one to get us but a priest?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that leads me to another question I always wonder about. Do you ever lose people like from your like do people ever just like leave with your group or that's
I've had not in our order, but I know people in the Vatican that have just quit being priests altogether.
right? I could see over time, you know, because anytime you
And,
deal with
it'll burn you out. I mean, I stepped back from doing certain things for a while, just for personal reasons and just to
yeah, yeah. Okay. But I think it's really honorable that you are helping people and that you're filling a role and that.
Well, yeah, and in the order, I mean, we do not charge people for an exorcisms or anything like that. It's actually sacrilege to charge for an exorcism.
Yeah. I could see why it would be. Yeah.
If somebody's sitting there saying they're charging, that's probably the last person you should ever go to.
And that's good advice for people that are listening, you know, or if you know somebody that is looking to get help.
A real exorcist will not charge you.
Okay. And I think that makes perfect sense to me. You know, it should just be for helping people and trying to save souls and save people. Kimmy had a question here. She said, are you able to just help people or do you have to go through the red tape and do you find it hard to get the approval?
You have to. I'm the. I mean, me pretty much myself and Father Ken give the final approval. So.
Okay. So
yes, everybody has to go through it. I mean, everybody has to do it. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yes, you have to have the physical done. Yes, you have to have a mental evaluation done.
Okay. And it sounds like that's for that person's protection as much as
yes, it is
for your.
And it's for both of our protections.
Right. That's what I mean. It's not just for you all being difficult. It's you're trying to protect them too. Because like you said, if they were schizophrenic or something and you didn't know it, you could really probably make the situation worse.
Yes, you'll push them further into psychosis.
Right. So I mean, I think that's good. Let's see. Kitty asked. She said, "How do you decide what people join you on the mission?" And she said she's going to assume that you need to have some sort of connections with the people that you're trusting to go in with, like that.
They have to be in the order.
Okay. When they join.
Now, sometimes there are people that I work with from other orders or from the Catholic Church.
Yeah, but most of the time, you want to make sure that you know their background and that you know about them.
Either they're with the Catholic Church or another order that we actually work with, right. Or they're from our order and they're not coming in.
Okay. Something I'm wondering about too, like, is there? I'm sorry, David. You can't really hear you at times. What did you say?
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, you got to know that they're able to be there and back you up.
Right.
Well, there's things that there's only. I mean, when you go in with us, it's not like there's not anything they're doing but exactly what I told them to. There's not really anything they can do. I mean, other than.
Have you ever had cases where you've gone in there and yes, you feel like there's an exorcism needed? You know, you think this is a problem, they need help, and they've just refused to let you help at some point?
Yes.
Okay. Well, and
the person has to tell, the person has to tell you yes they want it or I cannot do it. It will not work.
I would think, is that not really hard when it's like possessed people you're dealing with that are?
You could tell whether it's a person or you could tell what you're dealing with. We know.
Right. Okay. I just wondered, like, if it seems like they would always say, no, I don't want you to help me. You know what I mean? It seems like that would always be what they'd say, where they're so, bad off and they need help. But I just wondered how that worked.
We can tell what we're dealing with. Well, that's why we're trained to do what we do.
Right. Okay. And Amber has asked a question here. She said, in terms of a possessed building, what are some of the signs of a possession compared to a haunting? So, like, how do you know that it's not just a haunting?
Well, it's not real possession unless it's a person.
Okay. So she's thinking like if it's a demon, though, I think she's meaning like a demonic
Yeah,
haunting.
if there's a demonic presence.
Right. I think
Yeah.
that's just a wording issue.
There's different things. I mean, like scratching, like using noxious-free, foul smells. I mean, there's a whole list of different things.
If you all, because I know you see,
And that's why I got people to go like Ron's and Spur, and then that's why we have them go in first and do an investigation.
Okay.
And they've been in our demonology department. That's all they do. They've been trained for that specifically.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. All right. Whenever you were in there, and I'm trying to think, because I was going to ask something about the houses, and so it's knocks at 3, and the house was. Oh, I know what it was. I was going to ask you if you find out that, like, yes, it is a demonic presence in this home, and this home needs some cleared or whatever. But you find out that the person that was there had done something to cause that, like if it was somebody that had practiced something that they shouldn't, or done something that open up.
90% of the time, that's why it's there.
Okay, and I know that that's what I've always heard, that's a cause a lot of times. Does that affect the church's willingness to assist them if they're still not? Okay, see, that's what I was wondering. If they say that they realize that they made the mistake and they're not going to do it again, would the church still help, or is it that
I can't really answer any questions with the Vatican. That's not because I'm not with them, so I can't really answer anything based on them.
But I wasn't meaning, I know you can't for the Vatican and everything, but like your group, if
with us, I mean, that's all this case by case basis.
Okay, and I understand that, and I know that was kind of a hard question where I don't have a specific case scenario, but I always wondered, like, because I've heard varying answers to that, like I said, with people you've talked to throughout it. Some say absolutely not. If they cause that, they're on their own. I'm not touching it. And then I've heard if they repent of that and they, say they realize now what they did, we'll work with them. But I think it probably does depend on the situation, and you all probably would, I'm assuming, do a lot of interviews and really a lot of discussion before you decided what to do with that. Am I right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think those would be the harder cases to decide what to do.
Well, there's a list of stuff that we go through regardless every time.
Okay.
We have a specific 3-page list I go through, or my people go through every time.
And I'm sure you absolutely just have to. I mean, and I'd say there's things probably getting changed and added to it that all the time.
That's why it's 3 pages now.
As you live and learn, it probably gets edited, and it's probably an ongoing work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. And Kitty had another question. She said, "Have you had an experience where there was someone with you, but they were not the right person, or they could not get in a good headspace, and it caused conflict with the exorcism?"
No, because I wouldn't bring somebody with me like that.
Okay.
90% of the time, like I said, they're not coming with me unless they're a priest or a nun. That's it.
Okay.
I'm not bringing a regular person in there.
Right. Do you make the rest of the family leave the area when you do these? I mean,
yes.
They're
not allowed in the room whatsoever.
Okay. And this is, okay, once again, now I know this is from TV, okay? I'm going to ask you if it's true, because I've always wondered about it. But is it true that you have to clear out like furniture and everything because sometimes people get hurt and harmed?
Yes.
That's something that takes place?
Yes.
Okay.
The first one I did, I got hit with a chair.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I know. I've heard of people getting scars and broken bones and all kinds of stuff from these.
Yeah.
They can get really dangerous.
I had 3 ribs broken first time.
Oh wow! See, that's so awful. I mean, I admire that you're able to still go out there and not knowing what you're coming in contact with and do these. You know what I mean? After getting hurt and things, I think that's.
I've sometimes it's not just one entity within a person. I've had up to 6.
Okay. Yeah. I could see I don't know how to ask what I'm thinking. I know too, a lot of things I've read and looked into, that they kind of act like too, depending on the stronger the demon or the entity, the more information they have on you, or they're able to communicate, or the more they're able to do. Do you find that there are varying there's varying strength, I guess, along these.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so that is true. Okay.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'll turn it back to David because I talk a lot and I always have to check him and say, am I speaking over in his mic? He just got a new mic and I can't always hear real well. And so sometimes I'm afraid of talking. I got to make sure my co-host is okay here.
Let's just say it,
I can't hear you. You're cutting out, David. I can't.
Can you hear me now?
David needs a new mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you now. What was it you said?
Everybody always says, don't mess with the Ouija board. It's your opening a portal.
Don't mess with the Ouija board. Yes, don't mess with them.
A lot of people say it's just another form of communication.
Yes.
So
you don't know what you're talking to. You can't guarantee it.
Right.
So here's a good question.
And a demon's not going to tell you that they're a demon.
Exactly. The devil is the master of deception anyway.
Yeah, he is the master manipulator. I think that's what you said. Cut out the end, like I put him. I agree. But that, David, you brought up a good point, and that's kind of, I guess I want to ask you that too. Is like, how do you feel like this ghost hunting in general is probably not wise? I mean, how do you feel about that? Like,
what? I couldn't hear you.
Ghost hunting in general, like groups going out.
No, it depends. I mean, it all depends. There's people that know what they're doing, and then there's people that don't belong.
So just make sure you're trained well. It would be your advice.
Yeah.
Make sure that you don't just walk in thinking.
Like, I'm not all in for this paranormal unity crap. People get mad at me all they want for it, but there's just like anything else. There's people that don't belong in the military, and there's people that don't belong doing this. People are in it just because they want, I want to be on TV, this and that. I've been asked to do TV shows. I've been asked to do that. I've turned it down every time.
Right. Well, I just wondered.
I'm not in it for that. I don't want to be on TV. I don't want none of that.
Right. I just wondered how, if you felt like that was the same. So, do you think that the Ouija boards are more dangerous than, say, like a pendulum or a spirit box or something like that? Or do you think the Ouija boards
It all depends on the person. I mean,
okay.
Most people are messing with stuff they don't know what they're messing with.
Right. Don't you think that somehow too? I always wonder if some people just where they don't believe in it or they don't give it any credibility, and then they end up finding out real quick that things
well, you forget too. I mean, it's not going to come at you when you're at your highest point. It's going to, they have no concept of time. So you could be 20 years down the road or at your weakest point. They're going to come at you. Demons don't take your cowards at hand. They're going to come at you when you're at your weakest point.
And that leads me to another wonder, is it out of the people that were possessed that you dealt with have all had some kind of major trauma right before that, or is that just some of the time?
Sometimes it all depends. It's hard to answer someone because it all depends, and I can't, I mean.
No, that's fine. No, I think when people tell me something like, well, I'm not sure, or I can't really tell you that because I don't have enough information, or it depends, I just think that means you're honest because, and I recognize that a lot of these things are probably dependent on the case. And
it is. It's a case by case basis on everything. I mean, it's hard to answer some questions because it's never the same every time. And it won't.
Right. And there's so many factors and things.
Oh, there's a million factors.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like, I don't think you can make a manual or a checklist or anything to cover something that y'all are going to come in and encounter.
Not 100%.
Yeah.
There's manuals and stuff, but it's a broad overview.
Right. But there's no way you can cover everything.
No.
I think of something else I was going to ask you because there's just so many things. I know these things. Do you speak in English or Latin or like
Latin?
Okay. Do you?
And I also speak Aramaic. So
I've heard people say that. David, I think we're getting a lot of feedback from your mic again.
Yeah, we are.
If you can mute it. Yeah. There. No. There. No, it's back.
Nope.
So I don't know what's going on. He's been having some issues. He bought a new.
There
Yeah,
we go.
it's gone now. It was doing like a roaring, like rumbling. I don't know. And he had just bought a new headphone, so I don't know what's going on. He's on it. You're
They need to go in the trash.
He's been on like 2 or 3 shows lately, and they've had to have him mute because it kept doing him that way. I know he's having a time with it. So, but no, I was going to ask. I can't remember what we were saying. What were we talking about just now? Oh, I know. I was asking about the Latin prayers. I was asking about that if it was in Latin, because I've always heard that the prayers in Latin have more strength.
Yes,
Why is
100%.
that? Do you know why?
Because they don't speak English. The language of them was Latin or Aramaic.
Okay. So I didn't know. That is really interesting. It's pretty wild. And I know that I've always heard that Latin prayers were more effective, and then also I feel like they're, I'm not judging different people's religions by saying this, but there does seem to be something about the Catholic and Lutheran type, Latin speaking prayers, that basis for exorcism. Like, you don't hear of old regular preachers or Baptist preachers or Methodist preachers going out and doing effective exorcisms or even attempting that.
Well, they don't even call it. They call it spiritual deliverance.
Right, but that's not really the same thing, and it's not.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
And I guess, you think that after all the years of documented, demonic presences and possessions and things, that there be other faith bases like joining in, trying to help these people and saying, like, that's just me talking. That's not anything. And again, like, I'm not knocking it. I'm just it's just a thing I think about. I'm wondering, why more haven't developed a process and a checklist of who to help, and
some of them don't believe in it. Some of them don't believe in it.
I think it's more scary not to believe in it than it is to say, yeah, it's real.
Well, how can you believe in one but not the other?
Right, and right. And I feel like you're leaving yourself unprotected by saying you don't believe in something. I think the devil would love for you to think it's not true, or he's not real.
Oh yeah, he would love for you to believe that he doesn't exist.
Right. So it just, I feel like that's a scary.
He can move so he can do his work unimpeded.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I'm gonna think how to say this. To people that maybe don't believe at all in anything, that are like atheists, or to people that say they're a Satanist, but they're not a theistic Satanist, they just don't believe in there being a being. It's more of a mindset, or you hear people say these things and everything. If somebody that was an atheist or whatever, if they reached out to the church, which, do you even have people from other faiths reach out that often?
Not often. Not very often.
That makes me wonder too, like how undocumented, like, how many more people need help than what people even know about, though.
A lot, probably. Yeah. Like I said, it's more reported now, but we don't know how many truly are.
Right. Because if you think about it too, like you said, it's primarily not the person calling you up and saying, "Hey, I'm possessed and I need help." It's usually like a family member, I'd say, or somebody that cares about you and is noticing.
Because somebody that's truly possessed doesn't know. So I mean, it's not
right. So
if somebody's calling me up and telling me they're possessed, I'm most likely just gonna send them to somebody, one of my people, and we're never good. It's not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because the most likely it's a mental issue at that point.
Yeah. That makes you really wonder, though, about, like, I'm thinking of like the homeless population that don't have anybody with them and are all by themselves and have nobody to notice behavior changes or attitude changes or any of those things, have nobody to call anybody, and how rampant the rate could possibly be, like in communities like that, where
could be horrible.
Yeah, and it's really scary. And so it makes you wonder if
are they really just acting crazy in the street, or are they possessed? You don't know.
Right. And there's no way to know there's nobody to even initiate a request for help for them to find out, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, there are outreach programs. I mean, I run an outreach program, so.
Well, and I know there are, but I guess, like, say, even like shelters that give out food and see people, they didn't see them before to have anything to really compare it to, right? Like, see them when they were sane and walking around.
Yeah, well, it depends. I mean,
maybe, yeah. I don't know. I'm just thinking about it, and it's a really
you see someone long enough, you kind of get the gist of how they are. I mean, I have a homeless outreach that I ran in Myrtle Beach for a long time, and I knew which ones were kind of, oh, he has the drug issue. He's just kind of out there. But when he's sober, he's fine. It all depends.
right.
You get to know them, and you get to know how they are as a person, really.
Yeah. Well, bless y'all for doing those outreach programs too, though, because like that, I could see that.
Yeah, it's rough sometimes.
Yeah. I could say it's probably very heartbreaking, but at the same time, it's probably rewarding at times too. It's something that is needed. And I'm sure the more people that could help, the better off, with the way the world is right now. But I just think it's fascinating. I mean, I'm not in a just I guess just in how not just the spiritual world works with it all, but like in the process of what you have to do to help people and things. And then David, I don't know if you're Michael working, if you want to ask more questions or if you want to put them in comments, whatever you want to do. We could put your questions.
What would be your best advice for people to protect themselves?
Like rosaries, holy water, blessed salt along the door frames and windows.
Right.
What'd you say on the doors and windows?
Well, the sign of the cross on the went with the holy water, but blessed salt across the bottom of the door frame.
Okay.
Or a line that can't, like an unbroken line across the window, on the windowsill, doorways,
Okay.
And you can use pink salt.
No, salt.
That,
and that has to be blessed by a priest.
And what's up? What was
It
that?
has to be blessed by a priest.
Oh,
and it has to be regular salt, you're saying, right? Not
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. You will not see a priest use Himalayan pink salt.
Oh, okay.
It will be real rock salt.
Okay.
All right.
So there's a difference.
Is this something that you feel like it doesn't really matter the person's church they go to or whatever to do those things to protect themselves, or do they need to join? Like,
you have to believe in it, because if not, you're just throwing water around.
I mean, but like if you had somebody that was like a Baptist,
if you don't believe in it, it's not going to work.
Right, and but the Baptists believed that this would work and everything, but they weren't like going to confessional and things. And do you feel like they're still at risk, or they're like, you know what I mean? I don't know if it makes sense.
That's a hard question. I'm not going to tell someone their religion is wrong, but
right,
it all depends, I think.
Yeah, I know.
That's a hard question to answer.
I mean, I can see how it is, because I guess I'm putting your
opinion. It's kind of a stat question.
I didn't mean for it to be, but I guess it was. I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, are you crazy? I can't answer that. But I'm just thinking out loud and wondering, and I didn't mean to give you a hard question.
No, you're good.
So, I know. Did you have something else, David? Because I think I cut you off again. I can't do it with it today. I don't hear where anyway.
No, I have my mic cut off.
Okay. All right. Well,
this is giving it fits.
It's not doing that now that you turned it back on. It's not got that.
He unplugged it.
I took out the headset.
Oh, okay. I don't know what it's doing. That's crazy. Okay.
It's like this weather out here.
Okay. But what we'll do then, after we're off here, though, I will post the link to your webpage and everything for your contact information. And then if people do need help for anything, and that way they can reach out to you. And if anybody thinks of further questions, I'm sure you try to help if you could think of answers.
Yeah.
I feel like I just asked a horrible question to you, and I apologize.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
No.
My mind starts turning when I hear these things, and I think of like. But the other thing is, if I'm wondering that, there's probably somebody else out there wondering that too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's been very educational.
Yeah. And but if you, I can't think of anything else. If David can't think of anything else, or is there any other stories or anything that you want to tell us or share with us before we get off of here? Because I've got it's like 10 minutes till, so it's almost an hour. We're a little bit short of an hour.
I mean, if you have any, I don't know. Does anybody else have any questions out there? I'm not looking at the chat. So last time I
Yeah.
tried looking at the chat, it cut me off. So
Kitty had asked the last question. That was about if you ever took somebody that maybe wasn't in the right headspace.
no,
That you hadn't done that, and then I don't think anybody else had asked anything in particular. So I guess we'll probably just close out then if nobody has anything else. But I mean, it's really, like I said, I find it really interesting, and I think you've been a really great guest. So we're very honored
thank
that
you.
you talked to us, and
Yeah, anytime.
yeah, he's always wonderful on talk shows and podcasts and things. And I would recommend that if anybody out there does know somebody that's in need, that you truly think's in need. I mean, not somebody like we said that you don't. I wouldn't want to waste their time for anything. But if you really think somebody's in need, I would recommend reaching out to them. And I know y'all would try your very best.
We take everything serious, no matter who it is. I mean, no matter what, everything's taken very seriously.
Yeah.
And very professionally. I mean,
yeah,
this is what we do for a living. So, I mean, we're not just doing this on the weekends. I'm a priest 24/7. So all of our people are priests and nuns. This is what we do 24 hours a day.
Yeah, you even have a
7 days a
hotline.
week.
Don't you have a hotline? Like if anyone needs a call or something?
Yeah, we have all that on the webpage.
Yeah, so there's even a hotline number that you can have. That way, if you're out and you come across somebody in need, you can share the information with them, and they can call at any time they needed somebody. And then Amber says
24 hours a day, somebody will answer.
Yeah, and I do believe with all my heart that you all really do care about people, and that's what matters. And Amber's on here saying thank you, and that she found it very interesting, and she appreciates your time too. And Debbie says, great show, thanks. So we appreciate you all and all of your team. So, and everybody that joined in here in the chat, we really appreciate you too. Thank you all. And we'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
I'll post your information, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everybody.